Hello everybody, it's Stephen Paul from WinExtra bringing you your daily brief for April 27th, 2011. I almost jumped a month ahead here for crying out loud. It's the no caffeine thing this morning. It's just, you know, I'm going to be on edge all show. Shut up. Yeah, but you had to use a napkin to make yours.
Well, that's called improvisation. When you run out of coffee filters and your wife has the car and the nearest store is too far away to walk, you make
you're a wuss. Too far to walk.
My arse, it'll take 20 minutes to walk to the nearest store to buy coffee filters.
There and back, or just there?
Just there.
Well, that's nothing. I do that.
Yeah, but unlike you, I have work to do all bloody day long.
Oh, really? Mm-hmm. Okay. We know where that's coming from. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You and your Microsoft points. Anyway.
You make so that like working for an Inquisitor is such a hard slog. My Irish hours.
Hey, I work for more than one. Anyway.
I know what you do. I'm just giving you a hard time.
Yeah. We have a PSA today, a rather important one for Xbox Live users. Microsoft's issued a phishing scam alert, and this apparently is specifically geared towards Modern Warfare 2 players.
Do we know anything more about this? Because this is kind of one of those that on the surface of looking at this alert, and of course everybody's immediately tying it into, oh, PlayStation was down, oh no!
Yeah.
Right? But I'm thinking, like, phishing scams, aren't they usually where people
are stupid?
Yes, people send you messages and say things like, I'm from Microsoft, give me your username and password so we can upgrade your account. That sort of bollocks. That's what a phishing scam is.
Yeah.
And so I would strongly suspect that if that was happening on Xbox, which it is and has been happening since day one, that would be happening on every single game. And the common sense here is quite simple. If somebody purporting to be a Microsoft employee, an Xbox Live employee, or just anybody at all ever asks you for your password on Xbox Live,
tell them to piss off.
Bugger off and report them.
Yeah.
Because there is no reason. If they're a Microsoft or an Xbox Live employee, they won't be asking you for your password that way. Ever.
Speaking of pissing off,
I don't even asking for it.
Yeah, this is totally off topic, but because I sent you the link this morning and you kind of liked it. Anybody that doesn't read the Savage Chicken site, mark it in your text box or your
SavageChickens.com.
Yep. Mark it in your favorites because they got some awesome stuff, and today's was priceless. I'm going to just throw it up so people can see it because it's funny. Anyway.
And it has absolutely nothing to do with
Exactly.
And people are wondering why the show is going downhill.
Oh, yeah, right. Windows 8 apparently is dropping the blue screen of death for the black screen of death.
Wait. Is this 2007? 3 again? 5 again? When the hell were they working on Longhorn?
5, 6.
I don't know, and I don't care. But didn't they do this before? Wasn't Longhorn supposed to have black screen of death?
They also had the red one.
Mm-hmm.
But they
did we really give a bollocks what color the BSOD is?
We just don't want to see it.
I haven't even seen a BSOD on a machine now
I've seen it once.
At least 18 months, and that was an XP machine.
Yeah. I
have never actually seen a BSOD on Windows 7.
I've seen it once on my Windows 7. Just once.
That's probably because you were migrating the entire system to other hardware. Am I correct?
No, this was totally out of the blue. It was on startup. I installed something or other, and when I...
And do you know what the moral of the story is?
Don't install anything?
That's what happens when you're installing cracks from Usenet.
Oh, shut up. I don't do that anymore. There's a rumor coming out that Windows 8 is going to have cloud roaming options via Windows Live revealed.
We talked about this before.
Yeah.
And yes, it is basically that the settings for your Windows 8 machine will be uploaded to the cloud, a la Windows Live Sync, or something similar. And you'll be able to access them from your other Windows 8 machines, and I presume just keep everything synced. The screenshots show stuff like, you know, your personalization, i.e. your desktop wallpaper, that sort of stuff, your accessibility settings, language settings, application settings, your Windows Explorer settings, and credentials as well, I suppose, sort of stuff like wireless networks and all that sort of stuff, so that if you are moving around and go from one network to another, if you authenticate your laptop at home maybe, and then when you pick up your Windows 8 tablet from work and bring it home, it'll automatically work on your network.
I'm wondering if the application, because that's one thing I really like about Chrome, is that between the laptop and the desktop, or, you know, even wherever I am, I always have access to the way I want Chrome to be. I'm wondering if you're going to do the same. It's basically
that kind of thing, but for the Windows experience itself.
Yeah.
So you set in my case, I set my desktop wallpaper to, say, a Call of Duty Black Ops background, and it will appear on my tablet momentarily.
Yeah.
And of course, you can choose what you do and don't want synced. Interestingly enough, in that screenshot is that there's two network options: enable roaming on paid networks and enable roaming on low bandwidth. Now, this is interesting to me because it says that definitely tablets that have that are you know, wireless, are not wireless network enabled, but mobile network enabled, like 4G, that sort of stuff, will have the ability to sync, but you'll be able to turn it off when you're not on a local wireless network to save yourself the bandwidth bills and the money. Expect problems with that too.
Yeah.
About the overages on that. And also the ability to turn it off if you're on a low bandwidth network. So let's say you go into an area where there's no 4G and you're stuck on Edge or something, and it should stop that sync, which is kind of cool. This is going to be one of those things, though, that is going to piss off the hackers and crackers, I presume, because it's going to require extra steps of security. Well, first off, of security, because all this information is going to be pumped to the cloud.
Yeah.
So your Windows install is going to be tied to a Windows Live address.
Yeah.
So it's going to be easy to sort of track how many people are running. You know, if, you know, Joey Blogs at live.com has suddenly 8 Windows Ultimate installs and is trying to sync people up there, it's going to make it a lot easier for Microsoft to track down who's tracking stuff.
Speaking of versioning, Microsoft, I wrote about this yesterday. I don't know what the hell they're doing, but they seem to be returning to this massive number of versions. And part of this being blamed or being attributed to the fact they're coming out with ARM-enabled editions of.
I don't know if they are or not. I'm looking at the version numbers here. We have ARM Starter, ARM N, ARM E. Okay.
Yeah. One of them is without Internet Explorer installed. Okay. I think that's the E version all the way through. I don't know what the N is supposed to stand for. Maybe that's the ARM.
I'm wondering if it's not necessarily that at all. I'm wondering, because we don't really have much details as to what these versionings are. You know, it does say ARM Starter, Home Basic, Home Premium, Professional, Enterprise, and Ultimate. Okay, Microsoft, just get rid of Starter, okay?
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah, and get rid of Ultimate.
Okay? Yeah, because that's the biggest scam ever.
Oh, yeah.
I'm wondering if these versioning numbers may perhaps have something to do with the SoC version that it's running on. Because even though things are ARM, the Tegra 2, the NVIDIA platform is going to be quite different from, say, the Texas platform in that respect.
Yeah, I don't know.
It may actually, the version number may actually have to do with which ARM SoC it's compiled for.
Yeah. Okay, I get the idea they might need a different version for the ARM or the SoC, but the fact is we don't need a starter edition. We don't need a home Home Basic. We don't need that. Just a single home, all-encompassing version. Pro, we only need one Pro. Now, Enterprise, I'm not sure, but Ultimate, no. Like, this is just plain stupid in my opinion. That's all.
Well, it is and it isn't. I mean, Microsoft will obviously sell a crap load of Pro and Ultimate, and quite frankly here I wouldn't install anything lower than Pro normally, although Home Premium you can get by on just perfectly fine.
I do.
The only difference really is a few more of the more advanced networking features, that kind of thing. It's nothing really big. I mean, I'll be honest with you, the average user, if you sat them down, say, between this laptop here and Sarah's laptop over there, she's running Ultimate, and you couldn't tell the difference.
No.
You couldn't even find the feature differences most of the time.
No.
It's ridiculous. And you know what? It leads to sort of more of the sort of scammery that we had with the whole Vista Ultimate thing. Remember
that was a joke.
All the extras that were supposed to come out for Ultimate that never arrived?
Never arrived. I wrote about it. Yeah, I was a joke. We talked about, was it, no, it wasn't this. It was a story coming up. Windows 7 shared decline could mean security headaches. This one's kind of really... I'm not
this
sure.
This is kind of a no-brainer, honestly. The guys at IT World went over again that story that we talked about yesterday, where your man was guessing a number, all this sort of stuff, and they make the same points that essentially, you know, you can't tell whether or not he's right or wrong about there being a decline in Windows share. However, what you can say is that obviously, if there is a decline, then it means a lot more people on older versions of Windows, which of course means security headaches for people who actually care about security, and most people who are on older versions of Windows generally don't care about security.
No.
But that's another story. But for the rest of us, that's a headache.
Yeah.
But what it also means, and they didn't quite mention this here, is that if there is a decline, and if that decline is being filled, if that void is being filled by, say, Mac or Linux, Linux, yeah. Right. Let's say Mac, right? Don't get me wrong, I'm a Linux fan, but seriously, Linux is an awesome operating system, but it does not belong on the desktop. It just is not there yet. But what this does mean is if these operating systems are increasing market share, then the security headaches are going to start increasing for them too. The larger targets you become. And you see, that's the problem that people have always had with Windows throughout the years. Everybody's saying, "Oh, Microsoft is so, Windows is so much more insecure, so much this, so much that." But it's, research firm after research firm launched, about every year they'd come out with the stories that said, "Look, we've compared them all, and Microsoft is actually on par, if not better." The only difference is that you have 10 million more percent people targeting the platform looking for problems.
Yeah.
So as market share increases for these other platforms,
sort of the problem.
Android too,
yeah,
you can expect to see this becoming a problem.
Let's see, what we got here? Oh, the big mess over Apple and the iPhone and the tracking. Without a doubt, we've now got Windows Phone 7, Microsoft's tracking you too.
Yeah, CNET's Declan McCullough reported that. What did he report? He reported that that the Dell, HTC, LG, Nokia, and Samsung transmit miniature data dumps with unique device IDs. Of course, they all do that.
Yes.
That's how they identify where the data is coming from. They can't communicate with them, even checking for updates without that. Details about nearby Wi-Fi networks and the phone's GPS-derived exact location, latitude, and longitude. Now, first off, didn't we get a rebuttal from Microsoft a couple of days ago that says we don't do this?
Yeah.
I think maybe Microsoft might have been splitting hairs and saying we don't do what Apple does.
Just like Apple isn't doing what Google does.
And I turned around at that point and I said, the only reason if Microsoft isn't doing this, the only reason they're not doing this is because Windows Phone 7 can't do it. But apparently it can. And you know what, folks? Seriously, if you buy a smartphone, one that updates at all, in any way, shape, or form, and runs ads on it and all that sort of stuff, and you rely on any kind of service, whether it's Twitter or Facebook or anything, your location is being tracked, and you've got your head buried in the sand. You are as naive as they come if you, for any moment, think that some of your data isn't being tracked.
Yep.
It's being tracked by the operating system producers because they need some of this information in order to improve the operating system, to keep track of what's going on.
It's being tracked by the carriers. It's being tracked by the handset makers.
And some of this information is being shared between the carriers and the operating system manufacturers so that they can help each other out and make the operating system better.
Yeah.
Two, they have to understand their audience. It's like saying, you know what, you have an operating system that never ever talks to the location that it gets updates from.
Yeah. Back when Live Messenger came out with the newest version, I wrote about the fact that suddenly Twitter wasn't available, but Facebook was, LinkedIn was, so on and so forth, as part of their unified messaging service. Well, it looks like we might actually have it show up on Windows Phone 7 and possibly Windows Live. Twitter integration, I should say. Due to a couple...
I don't think the Twitter integration is the big story here. I think the big story here is the check-in application a la Foursquare. That is the big story here. It's not the Twitter integration.
Don't count on it.
Because Twitter integration is available on Windows Phone 7 from awesome clients like Seismic, for example. For Windows Phone 7.
I don't like it.
Hudson, you think everything sucks.
Our feedback doesn't suck. We got some good feedback.
But the interesting thing here is that this Foursquare style integration has actually been picked up because of some of the tweets that were sent out by developers' phones. And a search around Facebook turns up actually that there's at least 500 people using this application. Hudson, just because you never ever leave your apartment unless you absolutely have to, because you sit stolidly at that computer and never get out, doesn't mean other people don't want Foursquare style applications, don't want check-ins, and don't want, this alien concept to you. They want their friends to know where they are and what they're doing. Friends, Hudson, friends.
All right. Going on to the comments, or feedback. You asked yesterday. No, this is. Hold on a second.
Day before yesterday.
Day before yesterday. No, this is. Didn't we get a feedback on your question about the Nook in Europe?
We did, and didn't we get that on the WinExtra wall? If you can pull that up for me there, Hudson.
Oh, shit.
While that's coming up, we'll just cover some more of the feedback that we got. Talking yesterday about Windows Phone 7 losing interest. By the comment section on WinExtra.com, Tony Graham got in contact with us and he said, yeah, Windows Phone 7 is losing interest. Specifically for him. He said, no Mango until much later this year. I waited for Nodo in the wild. Hoped that they would get one install behind them and then surprise us with Mango. Nodo became no show. I've bought a Samsung Galaxy S and I will keep the Windows Phone 7 for when Mango comes out. I love Windows Phone 7, but without multitasking and without Skype, it is a brick for me. When I bought it, I was under the impression, as pretty much everyone was, that we would, in quotes, catch up fast through regular updates. That was a lie. Shame on Microsoft. And you have to agree with Tony here. Remember all the hype at the beginning. We'll catch up. There'll be very regular updates. They'll be quick. Carriers won't be able to block them, etc., etc., etc. Then that's why Windows Phone 7 is dead in the water. Now, also, JDog C texted us yesterday, and I forgot to put it in the show notes. Or I did put it in the show notes, but we forgot to talk about it. On the show the day before yesterday, we were talking about about the whole sort of phones giving your location and people complaining about it, but yet people were also putting out their information by Foursquare and Twitter, and then we talked about the site pleaserobme.com. Well, he sent us a link to an interesting little site called sleeptime.org, and if you put in somebody's Twitter name, it will tell you what times these people are usually asleep. So, for example, if you put in my name, Paul O'Flaherty, it will tell you that I am usually asleep. By asleep, I assume they mean not on Twitter, between 11 o'clock at night and 5 o'clock in the morning. So...
Now, going back to the comment about the Nook, Stephen Monkevich, I know I've screwed your name up there, Stephen, I apologize for that. He writes, "Hey guys, did a little research on the Nook overseas thing, and here it goes. Well, you cannot purchase content from Barnes & Noble while overseas because they have no international publication rights as yet. So what you can do is purchase downloads from other places in EPUB format and sideload them onto the Nook. Sideload meaning putting directly on the Nook from the computer via USB."
Okay, so you can use it if you...
Yes.
Luca, who originally asked us this question, you can get your Nook via eBay or whatever, but if you want your books, you will have to hunt them down yourself and go to the habit of sideloading. So at that point, you have to ask yourself whether or not the Nook is worth the price, especially with the new Nook color just after coming out, running Android 2.2.
Yeah. Anyway, if you've got any...
It's not out yet.
No, it's coming out, yeah. Anyway, if you've got any comments about the show, anything we've talked about on the show, drop us a line at podcast@winextra.com and leave us a comment on anywhere where you find us. We'll track you down. Or you can drop us a line, voicemail.
A voicemail.
Yes, thank you.
251...
281...
28... Come on, Hudson, you can do it.
281-8730. It's down there in the...
Yeah. 251-281-8730. That line is open 24 hours a day for you to leave us your voicemails, your comments, or your questions like Luca did. And we'll do our best to answer them here on the show.
So on that note, folks, that's Paul. I'm Steve. This has been WinExtra's Daily Brief for April 27th, 2011. Have a good day.
Great one, folks.